Hey there, this is Lady Shel, and I am doing a video on using the Author extension to make reference manuals for your content. The Author extension works with anything that's built in the core RPG. I am showing you I'm using the D&D 5e rule set. Now, the first thing you need to do is you need to go to the Fantasy Grounds forums, and I have a link in the description below that shows the page on which you can find the Author extension, which was created by Celestian. And there is also another extension, or actually there's another module that shows you some different alternate ways of making the pages look in your module. I'm not going to be covering that, but I will give a link to it should you wish to use that to change the field in which that would make a change. So anyway, let's start by opening up my story templates. This is the adventure that I created. It's not really an adventure, it's just a bunch of random text, but I want to show you how you use this extension to create your reference manual. So you start with page 00.00. Now you can actually make 3 sections of numbers or 2 sections. I only use the 2 sections. And these numbers will be stripped out when you load the module back up. This is just for showing what are chapters and what are subchapters by the numbers that are up here. So you would put your title of your adventure. You start with 00.00, and you can see that I have an image up here. And you notice that I have a space underneath it before I have additional text. That is very important if you wish to have inlaid images because you need this extra space. And this is what the image is. And you will see later when I open up the module how this is inlaid into this page. Now I have some text down here that really doesn't really mean anything. I have an encounter that I created here, and I have a map. Then I created a parcel. So I just have different links to content within this fake module. So we have that. We have additional text down here. And then if you wish to go to the next page, you would click your next page. Again, I have another inlaid feature, another inlaid image up here, and you can see it is this image. Once again, you see I have a space here because I'm using this as inlaid. And you would just take your image from your image folder and drag it right into your story entry. And then if this is unlocked and I wanted to continue writing on this page and I click enter, you could see it's giving me another option to make a link. However, since I want this empty space, I'm going to do Control-1 to change this field to common text, and then you would hit enter to make your next space. So there's 2 spaces there, we only need 1. And then again, I have another header and another bunch of text. Then we have chapter 2, or actually this is a subchapter. This subchapter also has an image inlaid in the top. This is the image of astral plane and some text. And clicking here, we get to chapter 2. Again, inlaid image. And then an extra space so that this will display as inlaid when I open the reference manual. And click on next page, we have a third page for chapter 3, and you can see I have multiple inlaid images. And again, we have our extra space after the image. That's very important. You can't have links in a row or they will not display as inlaid. So we do that. You can see I have text, but I have the space so that it will display as inlaid. Now, when you look at my story entries, you'll notice that some of the story entries are pink and some of them are black. The ones that are pink are your chapters and the ones that are black are your subchapters. And you will see when I open up the module that these are different colors when you see the content displaying in the reference manual. So we're going to close this, and if I were to be making this and actually creating it, I would then export it by clicking backslash and then click export. And then you would fill in your fields with your file name. If you have a thumbnail, then your name of your adventure or your content and the category that it's in, your name as the author, if it is your content, and then you can either just select all or just select the pieces of content that you used in this module. In my module, I used encounters, I used images, I used items, I used NPCs, I use parcels, and I use and then it's very important to make sure reference manual is checked. And then finally, story would be the last one. Then you just click export and it will export into a module. And now you would exit out of your table and reload the table. And when you reload the table, you will open your library, click on modules. In the left box, I'm going to type sample because I called it sample template. And here's my module that I created. So we will load this module, close this down, and we will look at the reference manual, which you see up here. So I'm going to open that up and close that. We'll make it a little bigger so that it's easy to see what is involved here. This is the title. And then this is what we called it. Title of your adventure was your 00.00. And we have our inlaid picture. And you can see the name of the image that you have is what is going to display underneath the image itself. And you can click on this and share it with your players by right-clicking and clicking on sharing, and then share record, and that would go to anyone that is logged on the table, which I have no one logged on my table. And you can see here are my encounters, my maps, my parcel, and you see that the dwarven hold here is not inlaid because of the fact that these are back to back. There's no space after it. If I had a space after it, it would also be inlaid like the one above. And there's the text. And then we click on chapter 1, or you can use the arrow keys to go to the next chapter. And we have, this is our subchapter. And I wanted to show you how that looked different. When you go to the title of adventure, you go to chapter 1, and you notice that chapter 1 has a subchapter. Here's the inlaid map, and then we have our subchapter. You notice that it isn't highlighted like the chapter itself. The subchapter is just blank like that. And then we continue on to our next chapter, chapter 2, with the new map. And then chapter 3 is our final chapter. And again, this is where I have multiple inlaid maps with text in between. And there's a third one. I have 3 maps or 3 images that are being displayed on this page. So I hope that you found this content helpful. I will put links to everything in the description below, and I hope that you will like this video if you liked it, and that you will subscribe to my channel so that you can be notified when I add new content. So thank you for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye.